Welcome back to the S Girls Basketball Podcast, where we hear from real women, real ballers, and real stories. Today, it is just Emma and I, and we're pumped because basketball season's coming up, and we wanted to talk to you guys about how to prepare, like whether that was ways we prepared, things that we should have prepared for that we never did, or what we learned, or now that both of us have coached and are coaching, we kind of see, oh, that's important.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Maybe like the outside stuff. So we're super pumped for this one. And yeah.
Definitely. I know. I'm so excited. You hit it right on the head. Basketball season is starting soon. I know teams, my old college team, starting workouts, open gyms and everything. Like I see the Snapchats. I still have like old teammates texting me and everything saying like, oh, I miss like you being here doing this with me and all that. So like memories are flowing back or whatnot, but I'm so excited that season's almost here. So let's share some tips and what we can do for these people.
Yes, I'm pumped. So, you know what? I'm just going to start off with the first tip that I have. And honestly, I would say do a dribbling workout. So, ball handle for at least 10 minutes a day. I think
Mhm.
10 minutes a day is absolutely perfect. You set your timer and you just kind of go like with it. Like maybe one like quick drink break in between, but like just do that because I know I'm a point guard and ball handling is like
Mhm.
close to my heart, but I also say to everybody, whether you're a post or a point guard, like you need to know how to dribble the ball. And I think if you can come back dribbling the ball better than you did the previous season,
Mhm.
I think your game is going to excel. You're going to be able to get to the basket in different ways. You're going to be able to, the coach and your teammates can rely on you better because you're not getting the ball stolen from you. You can be clutch in those types of situations. Plus, you're getting the feel of the ball in your hand. Like I know many of us now,
That's
especially if we
key.
want to play in college, we're playing year round or we're working out all the time. But I think if you could specifically focus on the ball handling, then you're just constantly having the feel of the ball in your hand. And that is
Mhm.
just, that goes a long way. So that's my first little tip for you guys.
Definitely. And I think, especially just coming off this like last season where I was an assistant coach right after my last year of playing, the one thing I saw that my coaches really appreciated and that I even know like as a player benefited me the most after you come out of summer, make sure you're in shape, make sure you're healthy, make sure you're ready. Because the last thing you want as a player and the last thing your head coach wants is for you to come back from summer break, get injured, and you're out for preseason. And then who knows how that process is going to go when season comes around? Who knows where your position will be when you come back from your injury? I think that is a huge thing that needs to be emphasized. And yeah, we all know like summer is where you win your season. And that is so true. That is extremely true. But one thing I definitely benefited from the most was making sure I did stay in shape and I worked out regularly, but I stretched. I
Mm-hmm.
stretched a lot. I rolled out, I used my foam roller, I used tennis balls, baseballs. Sometimes even if you find something that looks like a sphere and you just use
Yeah.
it to roll, like it's gonna work. You can even use like a soccer ball. Like it doesn't matter how big it is, but make sure your body is loose and you're ready to go because you're gonna hit an age where you can't just go out and play open gym. You're gonna
Yeah.
have to stretch. So make sure your body's loose and ready and prevent yourself as much as you can from injury right at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, especially the biggest thing and the biggest point that you said is the injury. Like, we're not saying, oh my gosh, you have to be in tip top basketball shape the
Right.
minute
Yeah.
you hit school. Like, that's not it at all. It's more so that your body is prepared and not that you've
Hmm.
been sitting on the couch for the whole summer and not doing anything. You need to get your
Yes.
body moving because you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to wait so long for season and then get injured because you weren't doing
Hmm.
what you should have done. So that's a really good point. I love
Definitely.
that
And not
so much.
even like really quick, yeah. And not even like these returning players too that are coming back into these programs. These drills you're gonna do. These type of
Yep.
workouts you're gonna get into right when season starts. Take advantage of that. This is your
Yep.
chance to put your game above. But not only that, help your freshmen too. They're not gonna know where they're starting at. They're not gonna know some of these drills and they're gonna have a whole bunch of questions. But let them know, like, hey, I was there once. You work your butt off. If you have
Mhm.
questions, ask questions. The last thing you really want to do also is not own up to your mistakes or just stand there and not talk. You're
Mhm.
going into a new environment, especially if you are an incoming freshman or if you're a transfer person to wherever program you're going to. You might not know how the coaching works in this system. You might not know certain drills, and you might even think you know a drill, but then the coach or the team takes a little twist on it.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to ask questions. I think that's the number one thing I really learned in my whole basketball experience is it's okay to ask for help,
Mm-hmm.
especially when you don't know what's going on, because you're not going to look dumb or stupid. You're going to look like you're interested, you're intrigued, you want to know how to do this right, to do it the right way to help the team. So
Yeah.
definitely asking questions. And it's just a huge thing for these like upperclassmen, that these returning players, to take advantage of what they already know they're going to go through. And they can really excel their game when the season comes around.
For sure. Yeah. And I think a good like next tip that spins off of that is get intentional with your focuses.
Mm-hmm.
Intentionality and intentional is
That's
like
huge.
one of my favorite words ever. And I tell my girls that I coach now, you're probably going to be sick of the word because I say it all the time, but it's so true.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you can get really intentional with what your focuses are for the year, what do you want to get better at? Even break it down. Like, what it's almost September now by the time, we're recording this podcast in
Yeah.
August, but like if you can say, okay, from like this time to this time, like these are my focuses. You can even break it down by year, or like the first half of season, or the first
Mm-hmm.
third of season, then the second, third, and last third. But like, what are you as a player want to focus on, especially like maybe if you're a junior, you know what I mean? Like, do I want to
Right.
what do I want to focus on that would help me get a college scholarship, or these, and then you can break down focuses of how you want to be as a teammate. Like my focus
Mm-hmm.
all the time was I want to be the loudest in the gym, but the most encouraging in the gym, and give out the
Mm-hmm.
most high fives, like as my team, and especially as a leader, how do I lead better? So you know what I mean? So that you can have
Yeah.
those types of focuses. You could have focuses on I really want to be intentional with what coach is telling me and really take my game to the next level. Like whether that's a goal of mine is I want to have less turnovers. So what does that look like in your
Mm-hmm.
position as a point guard? Okay, if I wanted to be intentional with less turnovers, that's ball handling, that's even game film, seeing the floor, that's working
Yeah.
out with teammates, even to get the feel of what they, you know, their
Mm-hmm.
feel of the game, so then I can put them in the best position, or just understanding it and the game and learning the game more. So that's just an example. Obviously, we all are different
Definitely.
types of positions and stuff, but if you can really get focused and intentional with your goals, you're gonna see improvement because you're
Mm-hmm.
focused on those things. And then you can evaluate after. Like maybe you're
Right.
like, okay, you know what? I've made this great habit of giving high fives constantly. Maybe now, even though that's still intentional, I don't have to set that as a goal because I already like it's a part of me. I'm already there.
Mm-hmm.
So then now it's you transition that goal. So you're just constantly being intentional and growing with your goals. I think
Definitely.
that's huge. And I wish I
I
would have
think
done it
that's
more
big.
specifically in high
Mm-hmm.
school.
Definitely. And I even agree to that too. I wish I would have done that more in high school. It was kind of like, for me, like going through my high school experience with basketball, like, yeah, I was like one of the better ones on the team, but you don't really get told to like not just think about yourself and not learn
Mm-hmm.
from others. So you're kind of worried about your own process and journey. But if you can start that sooner, the better in high school, you're going to carry it over in life. You're going to carry it in your job. You're going to carry it wherever you go to college.
Yeah.
And I think what really follows with that, focusing on like what you can do to like help better the team, it has to do with active listening. And you're not just listening with your ears, you're listening with your eyes. You're paying attention to what everyone is bringing to the table, what everyone is offering, and what everyone is doing almost at any given moment. I
Mm-hmm.
remember it was this past season or maybe 2 seasons ago when I played, but I think my coaches made the same reference. They're like, we have eyes in the back of our head even when we're down at the opposite end of the court. So someone is always watching you. Yeah, someone is always watching your effort. Someone is always watching your intentions, your body language, and whatnot. My best advice to that is, like I said, active listening and active
Mm-hmm.
paying attention, because someone's going to be watching you even when you think you're just watching one or two people. I think
Yeah.
it's really huge to know that your own teammates can offer some advice to you by maybe just watching what they do, or maybe even just asking a veteran like, hey, how did you get from this to there? I think it's really key that even though you want to ask coach all the time, like, what do I do or what's going on? It's almost even better to go to your teammates and be like, hey, how can I get to where you're at? How did you do that? And next thing you know, you're spending a little bit extra time in the gym. You're talking outside of class. You might even be watching film together. And
Mm-hmm.
that's just going to get both of you ready for the season that's coming up. It's going to help your whole team collectively come together too.
Exactly. That was my other tip too, is team involvement. Like get like whether that's the whole team and you guys decide to play like a 5-on-5 game, or that's just a few people that you text, especially as a leader.
Mm-hmm.
Text those people and just say, hey, like do you have time today to come to the gym? Like, let's get some workout
Mm-hmm.
and let's get some work in. I'll rebound for you. Like, I have this really cool ball handling routine that I just saw. Like, I want to do it with somebody. Will you come? Like get
Mm-hmm.
your team involved, and like even be very what's the word, like open with your team about your goals as well, because then that leads them to be open with their goals, and like ask them, like be like a good teammate and just say, how are you doing? Like, what do you want to get out
Yeah.
of the season? What, as me as a teammate, can I help you with? What are you struggling with? Like that type of thing. And that just gets your team in that chemistry that you should. And that's
Mm-hmm.
huge. We all know how big chemistry is as a team. So if you
Yeah.
can actually show your teammates that you care about them, like on and off the court, like it just goes around, because it's not just I value as my teammate, I value as my friend too.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes winning or reaching goals more fun because I did it with my friend, not just somebody I play
Exactly.
basketball with. So that's like super, super cool.
Exactly. And with that chemistry, I definitely believe energy goes with that.
Mm-hmm.
And if anything that we're going to say today on this podcast, I'm a huge energy person. Like, bring it to the table, bring it all out, like,
Mm-hmm.
go hard, 10 toes deep, like all that fun stuff. Energy is so contagious, especially like when you're going on a run in a game, even in practice, the drill's going really good, but it can also help turn things around when things aren't going good.
Yeah.
Trust me, a fair share of times I have been that one person that's the only one cheering the team on in practice because
Yeah.
we've sucked through a drill, we've kept doing it bad, coaches on our butts, no one's happy, no one's cheering. There's me in the corner saying, come on guys, we got this, come on, like we're almost done, let's keep it up, heads up, focus in, all that stuff. Energy is so huge and contagious, especially as these new seasons are starting, new teams are forming. Some of
Yeah.
these teams across the country are lucky to have returners that are all starting fives and they're bench players. They're lucky to have their star players coming back and haven't transferred. They're lucky
Mm-hmm.
to have them stay with them. But there are so many other schools, on the other hand, that are bringing in new freshmen, bringing in transfers. People are leaving their program. Everyone is going to have to get to know everyone. And energy is huge with that. If
Mm-hmm.
everyone can, ultimately, how I see it after playing and even coaching for a little bit, if everyone can put their ego aside for a little bit
Mm-hmm.
and what they're
Yeah.
good at to come together, then guess what? You're going to end up being one of those super teams. You're going to be one of those teams that, you know what, you're unbreakable. The bond can't be broken. So
Yeah.
sometimes it really is good to bring an open energy to be like, like, I'm good. Like, I can offer things to this team, but I'm not the best. I can't
Yeah.
do it by myself. I can't play this position like you can. I can't do that like you can. But guess
Mm-hmm.
what? I can add to your game. You can add to my game. So bring that energy around, hype everyone up because your season's starting soon. You're going to learn plays. You're going to go through drills. You're going to have good days and bad days. But hey, 6 months from now, when you're holding up a trophy or whatnot, well, more like 8 months because this is a long season. But when you're holding up that trophy, you're going to be like, hey, I'm glad you do that better than me, and I'm glad I do
Yeah.
that better than you because it makes us all fit together.
Yeah, Emma, you're doing the perfect transition for me for every we guys, we did not plan this. Like I don't know what Emma was gonna say.
No, we did
Emma
this
doesn't know.
podcast like,
Yeah, she didn't know what I was gonna say. And everything that she's saying, first, my next tip literally piggybacks off of what she's saying. So like it's just we're just like
it's
this.
like we're
Like
just, yeah,
we're
it's,
just in sync.
yeah, it's like, hey,
Hey, but what I was gonna say is to one of the things that I loved doing preseason was going to my coach and asking what his or her expectations were for the season for either both me and the team. Are we doing anything new? Like, are there new expectations, new plays, new this, that? So, like, feeding off of Emma, what she was saying, like, even energy or those things, showing the coach I'm here, I'm present, I want to learn, you can hold me accountable. But also too, if I'm going to the coach and saying, what are your expectations or what do I need to do for you, that goes back to our focuses. I can sit there and think, okay, coach needs me to be a scorer this year, so like my focus up until season is going to be just learning to shoot the ball better or score the ball better, being more crafty, because we have to go back to it. Yes, you can work on your own during season, but you have to understand when you're in season, that's not the time to get better. You're now focused on team, how the team
yep,
gets better, all this stuff. So your skills go out the window sometimes, especially if you're not that they go out the window, your skills training, like that time goes out the
of course,
window.
yeah,
So, okay, coach, you want me to score this year, or coach needs me to be more like of an assist, more of a contributor. Okay, so that's what I'm going to focus on. So there, you have your focuses. Also, too, if he's saying team stuff, that's where you bring your team in and say, hey, guys, I had a meeting with coach. He said this or she said this. I think we should like focus on this or whatever. And then that way you guys are able to find your role and kind of figure out what you want to do or what you can contribute to the team. So even like,
Mhm.
Emma, you were saying like the energy or this or that. I think that that's really important because then it's not a shock. Now you're not coming to
Right.
tryouts, and that week, that first week of practice, like, what the heck?
Mhm.
This is new. Coach said
Right,
this and like
exactly.
whatever. Now and you're able to be ready and be prepared because that's the biggest thing. If you're prepared, like I'm
Mhm.
going to go on a rant here, but like this is another thing that I thought about with communication as a player. And I just want to throw this out there, being prepared. So I learned this thing, especially as a point guard. Why, when something happens, you know what I mean? Why do we go to the player afterwards and say, you should have done this, or you should have done this, or watch me, I'm going here, like you passed at the wrong spot, instead of
Mhm.
going up to the player first before it happened? Hey, my girl has been like really like hard on me, I'm gonna backdoor and look for that, because you know how we do those like
Yeah.
backdoor passes where like the
Mhm.
person passes to the wing but you're cutting backdoor because you weren't
And it
reading
goes
it.
out of
So it's
bounds.
like,
Yep.
yes, those, I hate those moments, but like
I know.
those types of things. We talk about being proactive and talk. Well, it's the same thing, being proactive before season. That way you
Mhm.
guys should just build off of it. And some of those like getting the rust off moments can
Yeah.
happen before, and you're heading to the season way more focused. So
100%.
rant over.
And I think it's that's the tea. But no, I think it's definitely huge to approach like how you're talking about like asking the coach like preseason expectations, like what do you have for this team this year? But I think also in those moments, it's also key to understand, yes, you just spent this summer focusing on you and your game to get better.
Mm-hmm.
Because once you come into that season, like you said, it's not about you anymore. It's about what you just worked on in the summer to be part of that puzzle that this team is. But not
Yeah.
only that, when you are talking to coach and being like, hey, preseason expectations for me, the team, like, what do you see? It's crucial to understand at the same time, constructive criticism may be given. And that is
Yeah.
okay to take. That is okay to hear. And that is something you need to own because it's something where a coach or an assistant, ideally, like if you hear it from a player, like they're just another teammate, I would more like you to hear it from a coach or maybe even address it if you do hear teammates talk about something. But ideally, when something comes from coach, they have your best interest in mind. It's because
Yeah.
they've seen what you've done in open gyms. They've seen what you've done in previous seasons, and they're like, hey, you have these abilities. Now it's like back to the what are your focuses? What are your determinations? Because you
Mm-hmm.
can be our leading scorer. You can be our assist leader. We see your potential, but you need to work on this. You need to do
Mm-hmm.
this better. Like you're doing great here, but let's get you there by working on this little piece over here. And so
Yeah.
I think that's really big come like the beginning of the season. And following with that really quick, it's key and crucial to know. And I know we've discussed this before, Jay, with like other guests and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Your coach, your coach is not your best friend. Your coach is not someone you can be like, oh, why are they getting on me? Like, I thought we were cool. We were friends. There comes a point between a friend and the coach. So when
Mm-hmm.
they're giving you that advice, when they're giving you that criticism, it's out of their coaching perspective, their mindset. They're looking for you. But I'm not saying you can't go to your coach for anything. If you have something outside of sports or something you're concerned about, please go to them. That's what they are there for. But when it comes to it, when you're on that court, that 90 foot with the two hoops in there, they're going to be your coach and they're going to want the best for you because they
Mm-hmm.
see your potential to bring to the team.
Yeah, exactly. I think too that's where if you can gain those expectations from the coach and like your expectations from player to coach, that just eliminates
Mm-hmm.
that stuff because
Mm-hmm.
I've definitely been in weird situations where I felt like the coaches wanted to be their role
Mm-hmm.
model and wanted to do that, and it just created this like
Yeah,
favoritism. Like you could see it very whatever. So
very
there was
clearly.
very
Yeah.
weird situations. That's a whole other story for a whole other time. But we I also think too, I was thinking of this going off of, we keep talking about focuses and goals and intentionality and all that. It's not even too, it's like think about what you want for the season, but I also think you need to reevaluate either at the end of season, give yourself a few weeks off or whatever. What did I not do good at? Or what is there in my game that I need to elevate, or those types of things? And then think about that. And then that could be your focus for this year. Cause I know for sure I'm a coach's daughter and I know I've heard all this stuff it's the most frustrating thing for a coach to have a player come back and literally they did not get better at all. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Whether that's
Yep.
like even attitude wise,
Yep.
even all of those things. So,
Mhm.
um, really show your coach that you got better, because I'm
Mhm.
gonna lay it out straight. Do not get mad if you're not played. Do not
Yeah,
get mad if
exactly.
coach does not play
If
you.
you're not putting in the work, you will not get played.
Be honest with yourself. Stop, like, stop
Mhm.
feeling entitled. And I'm coming for you guys because I love you all. I love every
Mhm.
single one of you who
Much
listening.
love. This is all love.
It's all
All
love.
love.
Don't act entitled. Be
Mhm.
really evaluate. You know if you worked or not. Let's be real.
Mhm.
You know if you put in the work. You know when your teammates have put in the work. Because I can tell you this right now being a coach, and I'm sure all of us, even as players, there is girls that I have seen when I first saw them play. I was like, man, they need some skill, and then they figured out they needed skill, and within a month, got was like a whole other player because they focused in
Mhm.
and they got better and they improved. So if that can happen in a month, you can get
It can
better,
happen in the
and you
summer.
can, yes, and even the best players out there, they get better. You know what I mean? Even your
Mhm.
best player on the team comes back the next season and is better.
Literally.
So everybody on that team, you should get better, and as a teammate, you should encourage your teammates to get better, especially if
Mhm.
there's some people who like maybe are lazy or more this or just need that motivation. Be that muse for them, because that's a big help. That's a huge help.
Yeah,
So
I
really
agree. And
just
it's
understand that.
I completely agree in that. I feel like that really falls in line with like putting your ego aside and whatnot because your game's going to speak for it. You
Yeah.
don't need to go ahead and talk about it because guess what? If you're that player, all love, I'm hearing you, all love. But if you're that player that's talking your game and not proving it, guess what? Coach is going to see it,
Mm-hmm.
players are going to see it, probably not going to play. You
Yeah.
know, the one thing I really did learn throughout the years, and I've had my fair share, I've always been the one player, like, I'll let my game speak for myself. I
Yeah.
will go off in a game, like, I'll do something cool. I don't even really react in a game unless it's like, huge moments or something like
Yeah.
clutch shots or whatever. But your game will speak for yourself. This is the time to prove that you have been working. And guess what? It'll show. It'll show within the first week of practice. It'll show within the first week of preseason, and coach will know who's been working and who has not been working. But
Yeah.
the one thing you don't need to do, any returners, any newcomers coming in, you can have energy, you can be hype or whatnot. Don't boast. Don't be egotistic. Don't say, this is
Mm-hmm.
about me. Because as a famous quote once said, one man is important to the team, but one man is not all ingredients to the team. So
Yeah.
know that because trust me, that one day when someone's guarding you 5-on-1, you're gonna wish you had your teammates there, but you were there saying you could do it all. So
Yeah.
don't say you can do it all.
So
So that's
funny.
another thing I completely agree with. It's build your teammates up. Don't disregard like the work you have done, but be like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, like I worked my butt off. I know all 12, 15 of you have too. So let's see what we can do this year.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm going to slide in a little plug really quick. We just released on usgirlsbasketball.com a free workout program planner. Okay, so we keep talking about like free, like free. All you got to do is click download and you get it. It's just a PDF where you can print it off and like design your own workouts. But I know how it can be to kind of walk into a gym and not be focused on what I want to work on. So I'm just making up drills here and there and whatever. And then I know the difference of going to the gym with a set plan and focus, and just I have focused work. I'm intentional about it and I felt like I got better. So that's why we created it. We just wanted to
Mm-hmm.
make this like little thing where you can print off and like put your focuses, but literally write your workout in. And if you need help with the workout, we would absolutely love to help you. You can message us for sure, but just go to usgirlsbasketball.com and print that off because yeah, again, we keep saying intentionality and focus, and
Mm-hmm.
this is just a tool. You can literally write it on a piece of paper, but this is a
Yeah.
tool that's actually like planned out where you can do your workout daily, but also keep track of your workouts monthly and write down notes like how you felt that day, what you got better at.
Mm-hmm.
Because I really feel,
Progress, everything.
yeah, because you guys know if you've listened to past, you know how big I'm into journaling. Emma, you journal, don't you?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
I
what I
do.
thought. I thought you did. I didn't want to leave you out of that because I couldn't remember. But
Nothing.
but I love journaling because I can see the progress from the
Mm-hmm.
beginning to the end. Like I can see and I can write that down and all that stuff. So this workout thing also too, you can like on the days of the month, you can write like notes or what you felt, or even like achievements, or like, I didn't feel that good today, but I felt better in my workout, or I felt this, or I grew, or
Right.
I made this many shots out of this when last week I wasn't making that many. So I think it's really cool to actually visually see your progress, because then you can
Mhm.
actually see that something's happening, because the months and days can go by and you just like you don't realize that things are going on. So
Yeah.
yeah, so this is like where you can actually plan out um, your workout and be intentional and write notes and be super focused in. So I wanted to let you guys know, because I felt like that was a perfect segue from what Emma was saying.
Yeah, that is awesome. And I think it's huge because that can not only help track your progress, but also like your intentions, your goals, and where you are wanting to go and there from then forward and whatnot. I also think it's huge not only as we're talking about like preseason expectations right now, like how basketball season's coming up and what we've learned, but it's also important, I believe, to check yourself halfway through the season and
Mm-hmm.
even before like conference starts or even before nationals or tournament starts. It's huge to look back and reflect like, where have I come even in
Yep.
these past few months? What can I get better on, so these next 3 months of tournament time I can focus on that. So it's definitely huge to keep track of your game, to keep communicating with your teammates, with your coaches, even your parents, and like other people in the stands who you have faith and trust in to help them with your game. Make
Mm-hmm.
sure that you're always learning, you're always growing,
Yeah.
because you can plateau as a player, you can
Mm-hmm.
plateau as a coach, assistant coach, like everyone can plateau, but everyone has the same opportunity every day to keep growing. So if
Yeah.
you can take advantage of that at any given moment, do it, do
Yeah.
it. And not only that, out of everything, one thing that I hope all of you players are listening to this, past, future, and present, be thankful. Be so thankful that you're able to play this year, that you're able to come back and play, or that you're able to be a new player on this team, because you're a part of the less than 1%, maybe at most 1% of girls in this entire country, in the world, that get to play college basketball. And that
Mm-hmm.
is a huge thing to be grateful for. So don't take advantage of any single minute of it, because it flies by pretty fast.
Yeah. And same for the high school girls. You're still a very small percentage of people
Mm-hmm.
that play out of the whole country. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
really understand that it is a privilege to play.
So
So
don't
that's
take advantage of like the
please
summer.
don't.
Like, work.
No.
It's going
Yeah.
to be worth it. I promise. I know we're like putting all of this on you, and hopefully we're not scaring you or anything. We want to do this for you so you know what's coming, so you know
Mm-hmm.
what to ask or who to ask or even how to address it. There is so many good things coming your way. You're going to grow in ways that you never even thought you'd probably grow. You're probably
Yeah.
going to ask questions you never thought you would ask. And you're probably going to turn out to be a person that maybe you never even thought you would turn out to be. And
Yeah.
hopefully that's the best version of yourself. But this is the time to take advantage of growing, of working, of pushing your limits, of getting uncomfortable. Because I learned one thing out of my whole college experience: if you're not uncomfortable, you're not learning. And if you're not
Mm-hmm.
learning, you're not growing. So life's coming, but it's going to be fun because you're going to have a
Yeah.
ball in your hand, a girl right beside you. So it'll be
Yeah.
awesome.
That's great. And I'm gonna leave us off with a funny story. And Emma, if you have one after you think of after you hear what I have
Definitely.
to say, you can share it. But we're talking about like having goals and understanding that those goals can be reevaluated. And I remember in my senior year, I wanted to get back stronger, because I remember my arms used to look pretty toned and all this stuff. I was
Hmm.
like, I want to get back to that. Like, I want to be stronger, especially like preparing for college. I'm like,
Hmm.
I want to be stronger. But you have to understand that speed was my thing. Like, I am very quick, I'm very fast, and I love that about myself. So I remember I actually moved to this school, and we've always had, weights class in school, but like one of the schools that I went to was we were block scheduling. So in high school, so I had it either 3 times a week or 2 times a week, depending on the week. So I was still lifting, but I
Hmm.
had a break. Um I go to this school and our lifting is every day because we don't have block. So I'm lifting every day and I'm
Oh
like
my
going pretty
goodness.
hard. So then
Yeah.
remember, and it made me like, so I felt good. Like, I was like, I'm getting stronger. I'm this. We have the first week of practice or something. I can't remember if it was actual practice or like whatever. And my dad's the coach, and he's also a strength coach, so it's kind of funny. But I was working out at the school, so he
Yeah.
wasn't seeing me lift. And he came up to me one time and he was like, You're kind of looking slower. Are you? I was like, I was like, because I gained so much muscle weight
Yeah,
and I'm five
there it is.
three, so I can't gain like
Yeah, you
that
can't
much
gain
with
all
that.
that.
Yeah, without
Yeah.
the the slowness coming. So when you said that, I started going so light in the weight room. Like I was barely
Oh yeah.
I remember that. And then I got it back. Like I was still in shape, but I like the muscle weight kind of went down. But I remember
Oh
that.
my
And
gosh.
I was like, because I had pride in my speed. Like
Hmm.
that honestly,
Oh, for sure.
if you told me, oh my gosh, your ball handling is so good and man, you're so fast, that's the best compliments. Like, I don't care if you
Hmm.
tell me I'm a good scorer or not. No, I can handle the ball and I'm fast. Like, those were the
I
things that
like
I
that.
was like, yes. So when I got told that, I was like, I have to change this. I was like, I got to do something.
That's awesome.
So that is just a funny story of like, my goal was to get stronger, but
That's
I still had to
hilarious.
remember like my other assets. So I
Oh
had to
my God.
reevaluate that in transition to
Hmm.
my goals, those things. So that was like my funny
I believe
stories.
that. Yeah. That
I'm
is
like,
awesome.
it's
Oh
like,
my gosh. I don't
yeah,
think I have anything like that. The closest I can think of though, this was, I think it was like our preseason workouts or our like postseason, like going into the summer. But we were doing like ladders, obviously footwork and speed and whatnot. And I've always been one of the fastest too, like on my teams, quick on my feet, like quick moves, like can get to the basket and all that. And so we were doing these ladder drills. And this is okay, I remember this now exactly. This is a prime example of why you don't boast and say you're good at something, because I was saying I'm good at these ladders and I can move my feet all quick and whatnot. And so we had these like really, it was like the little rope one. So like, and we're in
oh
the gym. So
yeah,
like
yeah,
they're like on the floor. So like nothing, I can't hit anything to like drag it or whatever, whatnot.
mm-hmm.
So I'm like doing like, oh yeah, like this is my favorite drill. I love doing these footwork speed things. Like blah blah blah. I can do these in my sleep. I'm like a sophomore at this time. I don't even know what I'm doing. So I do it or whatever, and it's like my first attempt. And like we split up into like groups for like morning workouts. So like I was like with
Yeah.
one group and the other, but we had like coaches in each of them. And I literally, oh my gosh, I crap you not. I went on that little ladder thing. We're doing like in outs, in outs, in outs. I get to the last one, caught my foot on my foot, just fell, just laid there. Everyone laughed
Just
at me
gave
and they're
up.
like, "Oh, so you're really good at this, huh?" And I'm like, I've never spoke about me being too good at anything else ever again.
Good.
You know, that'll
Love
smack
that.
you real hard.
We
That'll
all
smack
have
you.
those humbling.
Yes,
I feel like we
very
should do a
humbling.
podcast episode of like funny things that happen because I am thinking of all these things in a game
Oh God, I have
that
a book.
happened to me and I'm like, oh wow.
Yeah. Hmm.
Why did I do that? Or what the heck? Like was I
Yeah.
thinking or how did that happen? Yeah, that has to be a podcast episode because that would be so funny.
Oh yeah,
I
we could
would
talk about that for a minute.
yeah, I have already have like 3 stories in my head right now all throughout when I
Yeah, all you can do is just laugh at it nowadays.
yeah.
So
So I
you're
learned
all gonna have those moments. You learn from them.
it's funny. You
You
look
can't
back,
stop them.
we're graduated. We look back and like we laugh, even though the crowd, you kind of think the crowd thinks something of you. It's
Hmm.
okay. They forgot to.
Yeah.
Or I hope.
But really though.
But
But
probably
no, all
not.
in all, yeah, probably not. All in all, though, like basketball season is coming up. It's going to be so fun. This year is going to be amazing. I know
Mhm.
there's going to be still challenges with this whole COVID not the vaccine, the COVID like virus going on and whatnot.
Yeah.
Well, maybe even the vaccine too. I don't know.
Who
But
knows?
just know it's another year of basketball. It's another opportunity. Don't take advantage of it. We'll take advantage of it, but don't take advantage of it
Yeah.
at the same time. Go hard, have fun. Hopefully, we'll have some of you on our podcast in the future and you tell us about your journey holding up the
Yes. We
trophies.
should do
So
that.
you never know.
We should
Yeah.
do that. I would love to have like a section where we get like people who listen to the podcast on and they
Hmm.
like we prompt them with questions and they get to share. That'd be so
Yeah.
cool. Oh, we're jotting
That'd
that
be
down.
awesome.
Look,
So if you're listening and would like to join or know someone, let them know. Contact us. We're always here.
at Us Girls United on Instagram. Boom. Love that.
Boom.
Well, awesome.
Awesome.
So this is a good episode, Emma. I enjoyed that and This is something that we're always trying to do, obviously, help in any way we can and look back on what we did wrong and even did right and try to explain that and help you guys in any way that we can. So be on the lookout for that. As you're watching this or listening to this podcast in real time, like if you're watching it around the time it comes out, we are having a lot of stuff come out on the Instagram page, a lot of fun and exciting things, tools to help you. So make sure to follow that again at Us Girls United. And yeah, I'm trying to think what else. I think that was it. Make
I
sure to
think
rate
we'll
and
just
review
see
this
you
podcast.
next time. Yeah.
Rate, review this podcast.
The
Share
usual.
it. Share this. Listen to it as your team. There's a team bonding thing. Guys, you guys are in the car driving. Listen to this podcast and then you guys can discuss afterwards. Boom. Solid.
There you go.
I like that idea.
Mic drop.
Mic drop. With that being said,
All right.
we will see
We'll
you guys
see you next time.
next time. Peace.